Alright, it's hard to illustrate what's happening here. So these cars, they're parked right at this curve. So you have to like overshoot, then straighten it out. Because I am a long truck. Alright. I can't make that turn when they bottleneck the gap or bottleneck the curve. Almost need to have like an aerial shot of that to give you an idea of what that is or how that's an obstacle. Got a storm that came through the other day. It's a little hectic. Oh, it's just out of reach. If I had a little bit more room to get to the curb, I probably could have pulled that off. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Get my picture taken. Oh my gosh, that had some weight. Whoa. Almost lost that one. With that, it's not behind the mailbox, but if I, have my grips open, alright, you gotta be a little careful. Like, it can be done, but it's one of those things where, the way I think of it is a lot of garbage companies are having a high turnover rate, so they always got new, inexperienced guys, rolling up the stops. And yes, okay, I've dumped hundreds of thousands of carts, so me hitting that mailbox might not be an issue, but a new hire, it could happen. Okay, so if you live in an area where they're very adamant that your cart is all the way to the curb, this is kind of an example why when people park on the street, like that, this one's not too bad. I got enough arm, but I also have a 12-foot arm. A lot of these trucks come with 8-foot arms, and that 4-foot is a big difference. This is easily serviceable. This one up ahead might get a little tricky because I got to steer away from it and then crank it back in. And ideally don't hit cars. Alright, this isn't too bad. Sometimes that truck is parked further up the driveway, and then they put it, there's more room for them to put the cart up the driveway. So I was able to reach it this week, but there's been a couple times where it's real close. That's kind of an ideal spot. It's a little bit of, no, it's not. Well, there's some Jenga falling into it. Looks like I'm trying to keep an eye on that car. I think they've tied it up a little. This is a great example of why having two carts correctly placed is better than letting people throw stuff on the ground. So it should just easily grab it, tip it, get some styrofoam that was kind of sticky in there, so it didn't dump out as quick, not a problem. Got a little bit of space between the carts, so So I don't have to mess with it too much. Boom. Real quick. Alright, see those stickers there? That sticker has arrows pointing to the street saying have that to the curb. Or, you know, have the arrows pointed to the street. I'm gonna hang on the arm a little bit. It's got trash and it's, whoop, whoop. So what's happening is when the lid's open like that, it's putting a little bit more weight to the wheels instead of the front. And if it was flipped, you remember the roller skates as a kid? That you'd put your toes down and it would create like a braking effect? If that cart was turned around, the weight would be to the front and it'd be like a brake. Since the weight of that lid being open and pointed downhill, it's putting the weight to the wheels and making it roll. It's got a nice thick plastic and it's tied. Oh, can't get that though. To roll up to their blocked cart. You're getting attacked. If I was really, really aggressive, I'd put it right behind the car that's getting ready to roll out. I'm not that aggressive though. But they are getting... That's good. Your eyes to look at the camera. I'm being there's gonna be people that say you're being too kind, and they are probably correct. Because there's a sticker on this cart that says to put it, you know, to the curb or within 3 feet of the curb. And when they park on the street like this, it forces the truck way out of reach. And now when I make a motion forward, it puts me in the opposite lane. That's not good. This is perfect cart placement. Maybe a newer guy would want a little bit more space between the carts, but for me it doesn't matter. You can scoot them apart from one another. But there's no obstacles to be concerned about. It is, wheels are on the curb, facing the house. Trash comes out easily, quickly, and clean. Everything's faster, safer, cleaner. Boom, 2 carts. I service those 2 carts in less time it takes to service a single cart that's like backwards or next to an obstacle or whatever. And you might be thinking, oh, you just prefer it that way because you're lazy and you want things to be easy. Well, I guess yes, kinda in a way. But you have to consider that I describe this as like the easiest hard job out there. Like, it's a hard job. It gets easier when you get good at it. But it's still hard to get people to want to be garbage man. Because I've seen lots of times where someone applies to be a garbage man, they think they're just going to drive a truck all day and it's easy peasy. And then they realize they're getting up at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. That kind of sucks. Running a joystick is not as easy as they thought it was. Navigating traffic isn't easy. And then running a route, knowing how to get all your stops done in a reasonable amount of time, that ain't easy. I make it look easy, but I'm, my natural inclination is to be humble, but sometimes I gotta not be that way to drive a point home. The reason it looks easy is because I'm really good at this. I've been doing it for a while. So it's not realistic to watch me do this job and think, oh yeah, that's easy. It is easy for some, but it's definitely not for everybody. That being said, back to the point. Alright, I just drove by one that's not out. Like, it's hard to see the things that I can't show. Mark's one that's not out. So even as I'm trying to explain the job, I'm still doing the job. But it is as instinctive and automatic to me as tying my shoe. So when you tie your shoe in the morning, you're not, oh, I gotta cross them, then I gotta loop them, then I gotta tie them. And, you're not thinking out loud of what you gotta do. It just comes in automatically. That's what it's like for running a garbage truck for me. It's fairly automatic at this point. And when carts are correctly placed, it can be the difference of running 75 stops an hour or 90 to 100 or 110 stops an hour. We're in a competitive market, so we don't have every house. But where we got decent density and good routing, we got some areas that we ran 100, 110 stops an hour. Otherwise, I try to shoot for maintaining 90. Which, it's like every minute you've done 1.5 cans or 1.5 stops. So, something to think about. So when I'm excited about good cart placement, that's why. It makes a hard job a little bit easier. And when I can get stuff done quicker, I don't know what this car is doing, but they've gone by me 3 times. let's go to the tape. I'll show you. They pass me, and then they come around and come at me head on, and then they go around on my right side. I don't know what they're doing. I bet that guy was probably trying to get into that parking lot. He wanted to go the back way. The gate was closed. That's decent plastic. It should go. If you ever come home and your cart's been moved, that might be the driver trying to tell you something. Like if I lift this up where it's at, I'm going to rip down a lot of branches. So we're going to move it over here, get it serviced. It's a little one, so I'm going to leave the lid shut because that lid can kind of get it out of balance and make it tip back. And I'm going to try to put it in that nook so people can still get in and out of the garage without risking hitting the cart. So if you see your cart moved at the end of the day, well, that might be why. Oh, we'll try it. We'll try it. You gotta be careful with wet cardboard. It's easy to tear through it. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Fingers. It looks wet, so it's easier to tear. Oh, this is my favorite. So cul-de-sacs are always kind of rough to service with a garbage truck. And then you get these homes that kind of understand that concept. So they go a little extra on their cart placement, put it away from their curb. Like I didn't ask them to do this. I did not ask them to do this. They just did this inherently, or they just knew to do this. And I always appreciate that. So I'll put it back. I'm like, yeah, I can still reach it there. Kind of clear the cul-de-sac for other traffic. But that is my favorite, when people kind of understand the nature of the job. But these little lanterns. Oh, I'm getting it right up until when it tears through. fabric. Okay, nice. I was hoping it'd stay inside the other one when it inverted, because I thought it might fall out. It's a little low for the grips. They tied them together. Stuff. That is not my favorite plastic. It started to tear. As soon as the finger starts to tear through the plastic, it's like, nah, that's not really gonna work. And another thing is trash and mailboxes are not good friends. They should not be allowed to sit next to each other. You should be able to get that, but it's, if I had a new hire with me, I would not let him go for that. That and it got rained on. But cardboard just acts differently. There we go. Okay. Not too bad. Might get a little. Okay, so part of the challenge is I don't want to have to go in reverse. So I want to be able to get this. Alright. And if I open up my grips all the way, push it onto the concrete, just scoot it. I don't want to scoot it on the grass. Just like that. This is how a lot of the stops are today. So when you see me taking a little bit extra time on those extra stops or extra trash, that's not all day. So these routes run pretty well. When we converted them to side load, it was a little rough, but then people caught on and, you know, looking forward, see these few carts in a row. And, yeah, people are on board. I think we can get it to ride. Alright, full set. Ooh. Nice. When I'm being stupid, I don't like having an audience. Unless it's for YouTube. Let's try this. Okay, we got a little bit of margin of air. Ooh. Come on, guys. Just need a little bit more room on that cone. Oh my god. Alright, Columbus is kind of like that friend of yours. Like, you'll still like them. They're good people. It's a good town. But every once in a while, they'll go through a phase where you just find them absolutely insufferable. And we're in that phase right now. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy the town. I just don't like where we're at right now. Whenever I go up this stretch, someone, if not multiple people, is going to have trash out the cart. But it's never the same every week. So it's hard to say this house has to have a second cart or this one does, because it kind of fluctuates who's going to set out extra. If I say that, it looks like every house has extra on the ground. Well, that was stupid of me to say. Pretty cool. All bagged, all tied. I don't think I'll be able to get it all with the grips. Get the grip over right on. Goes up to the pile. And Let's see if we can bear up. Oh. Don't stab the plastic. Hug it or pinch it. That's actually... That must have been that flex plastic. Yeah, I can't see what I'm grabbing when it's behind the cart like that. Oh, bummer. Alright, man. The other reason I enter all this into the tablet is so if we do get to a point where we go, this person needs a second cart, there's a history you can look back on and be like, oh yeah, you know, in 1 month you got out of the truck or picked up extra 3 out of 4 times. That's not exactly the ideal setup. And we do offer recycle. We have a recycle route. Looks nice from afar, but it might be far from nice. No, this is cool. So I'm gonna grab a little high. Where that cardboard folds over, gives it an extra layer, makes it a little more durable so I don't stab through it. These, it's easy to crush these and squeeze them too hard. So I just want to get a little bit of a flex in the body so I know it doesn't fall out of the grips when it's upside down. Because the grip override is on. Then put the grip override off. It's a really good plastic for this. Just when it's untied, it makes it a little more sketchy. No, this will be fine. No, this should be fine. There's a little bit of doubt, but we'll be fine. Tied bags are always better. This is on. Grip override back off. Oh, nice. Okay, we can get that done. It's gonna take a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. Sometimes I just push it forward out of the way. There's not enough driveway to do that. So try pushing it back. So the bottom's not falling out. That's always a plus. Boom.